Okay, I'd like to thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of masters and the mercy of the grand predecessors, transmitters, to give me this opportunity to talk about today's topic, which is on it's basically, obviously, it's just an intro. This is going to be intro. Everything's intro here, okay? All right? Because we can't cover, in depth or in real serious depth, this topic in 1 hour. There's no way. It's going to be just intro, okay? So it's called the Classic or Book of Purity and Stillness, okay? Qing Jing Jing. Now, the authorship, even the authorship is, they say, debatable, but this is not a well-known, it's not that well-known. A book or classic as opposed to its counterpart, which is the Book of the Way and the Virtue, right? Dao De Jing. That's it's much longer. It's much more well-known, well-translated. They say it's probably the second most translated text book after the Bible or something like that. And there are legends about how when it was written, how it was written, blah blah blah. Okay, but actually this Qing Jing Jing, the classic, we call it classic of instead of book, is because it's very short. It's whereas the Dao De Jing, the Book of the Way and the Virtue, comprises of like 5,000 plus words or something like that, and 81 chapters. This Qing Jing Jing, you can say its little cousin is only 390 words or so. I counted every one of them. No, I'm sorry, and about 90 verses. That's it. Usually the phrases are four. Did you bring up the other one, the other file? The Chinese and the English translation, because they have to read it. Because this is just, if you follow this outline, it's not very meaningful.
Okay. Did everyone get one of these printout? Anyone need a printout?
Raise your hand if you're missing a copy or you want a copy.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see the hand. Three? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so if you look on the screen, that's basically it. Those are 390 words. This format is not easy to read if you don't read Chinese, obviously, but it's usually 4-word phrases. Some are less, some are long, but usually it's every 4 words is one phrase. So there are roughly 90 phrases. I counted each one of them. It could be 90, 91, depends on how you count some phrases. But anyway.
And you read from left to right.
Yeah, well, in this case, yeah. But then, yeah, it's 3 columns, and then the bottom half is the English translation, which, it's some of it is not. Some words that they use are not very good. But anyway, but because this is a PDF, I can't edit it. But I'll refer to it when we follow the outline, which see, because Thai, the text file, the script file, does not break it up into sections. Because there are 15 sections. 15 sections, okay? Sections, which compose different phrases and all that, different links, okay? So my outline is based on those 15. So it's easier to read, and it's kind of easier to capture the meaning, because it's like each section has like a key theme. You can say that, like a theme. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But because this doesn't divide it up that way, it just kind of like jumbles it up together. Because don't forget, in those ancient, in the old days, they don't, they're not thinking of, this is going to be a textbook or something like that, just like when Buddha was talking to, Diamond Sutra. Actually, it's just a conversation, dialogue between him and his oldest disciple back then, Shibuti. That's all. They don't divide it up into say, okay, Shibuti, chapter 1, I'm going to give you an intro, background. Chapter 2, I'm going to definition. 3, No. But then later on, much later, 200, 500 years later, the scholars, Buddhist or Buddhist monks, they kind of like say, hey, to make it easier to memorize, to read, they divvied it up. Then they started sectioning it, okay? And then that's how Diamond Sutra ends up with 32 sections or something like that, okay? Something like that. Similarly with the Tao Te Ching, and similarly with this, okay? It's because it makes it easier, okay? Because there are different themes in it, right? Okay? So that's how we're going to do it, all right? So when you look at the outline, I should say summary of key points, it kind of like, oh shoot, I don't have the Chinese. But anyway, there's another printout, but that has the Chinese too. But it divvies up. So basically, the first section, we call it section, or yeah, not chapter, section because it's too short, I guess. First section is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 8 phrases. The first 8 phrases. So if you highlight that, yeah. No, all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 lines, the top 4 lines. That's basically the first section. Okay? So what is the main theme of that first section? Well, can you scroll down to the Chinese? Maybe better to go down to the to the English. To the English. Down below. Yeah, scroll down. Yeah, go to the English translation. Yeah, translation right there. Right. So no. That's it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. The first 4 lines. No, but each line is 2. Each line is 2. So it's 8. So it's first 8 lines. No, also I do not know about only right. That's 8 lines. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first section. Okay. So now, what's that first section? I mean, if you read the Chinese, it's very straightforward. Well, it's not. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And the English you read, it's pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay. So I don't have that much gripe about the translation so much. But basically, if you read the summary, that first section. What is the key point? It's talking about there's an absolute truth or principle called the Tao. Okay, we call it the Tao. Okay, all right. I didn't put it in Chinese, but and then that Tao is the source of everything. Okay, the source of the cosmos, source of nature. What things we call nature. Oh, this is Mother Nature. Whatever nature. Okay, nature, yin yang, right, etc. So in the diamond in Buddhism they call it all things are from the truth, from the principle. 全是多是理. Okay, so that's the Buddha nature class, right? That we have those, okay, with those phrases, whatever. Okay, so it's hard to put side by side, but anyway, don't worry about it. Okay, what are you gonna do?
No, I just made it bigger.
Okay. You reformatting? Yeah, I did a small because I want to squeeze it to 2 pages. Anyway, okay, so then there's some key terms, So within each section, there's some key terms. In this case, the key term is obviously Tao, but also what Lao Tzu characterizes the Tao as what? Formless, 无形, right? It's formless. The great Tao is without form or formless, yet it gives birth to all things. Okay, so that formless is the true form of the formless. It's what Buddha called the true form of the formless. See, so Lao Tzu and Buddha are really talking the same thing, just using different words, different angles, different perspectives, okay? So that's the true emptiness, marvelous existence. It's true emptiness, but there is something there that's formless. Get it? It's invisible. That's why they say it's emptiness. Okay? So it's not like a vacuum tube where there's nothing, where there's nothing, literally nothing, right? Vacuum, vacuum tube, nothing, you even suck out the air, right? You get it? Okay? So that's the distinction. Okay, later on, we're going to talk about more. Okay, but one idea. Second quality he describes. He goes, see, the translation is without preference. Okay, preference. It's not preference. It's preference. PRE. I think it's in a PRE, not PER. Not PER, right? Not PER. Is it PRE? Oh, PRE. Okay. Mine has PER. It doesn't matter. Okay. What does preference mean? It just means it's. And in my bullet point it says what? Without feelings, passions, biases, thoughts, intentions. Okay, so that means it's 如, get it? It's 如, thus so, suchness. So that means that. Okay, and also it's non-conditioned, right? I didn't say it. Didn't say it's just non-conditioned, meaning that it's non-dualistic, basically non-dualistic, non-qualified, not dimensionless, whatever. Okay. And then Okay, I mentioned that. And it's also nameless, 无名. Now, what does nameless mean? It means that it has no name? No. I mean, yeah, surface meaning it means that. Yeah, that this absolute truth, this principle, this true, emptiness, marvelous existence does not have a name per se, but we give it the name. Okay, we give it a name. So Lao Tzu called it the Tao. Okay, that's it. But what really this namelessness or no name means that it just means that's undefinable, indescribable. Understand? And it's thoughtless and wordless. So it's indescribable. 不可思议. That's what it means. And thoughtless means we can't even imagine it. Because it's beyond our imagination, our conscious thought. So that's the unperturbed state. Okay, never mind. Okay, I don't want to go too much. Okay, so basically that's the main theme, right? Key points of the first section. Makes sense, right? So he's describing what is Tao. Basically, what is Tao? Okay, what is Tao? Okay, get it? All right. So second section. Let's go to the second section, which is he goes into a little more detail. Talk about its uses or its manifestations. Maybe that's a better term. That's why. But yet it all comes from this absolute principle, truth, whatever. Okay, essence. All right. So I call it the oneness. All right. And why? Because the two are inseparable. That's the key. We don't separate it. Okay, so we know. Okay, there's a principle, right, from the first section. Yeah, he's talking about it's a source of everything. It's non-conditioned. It's formless. It's non-preference. Non-preferential or non-biased. You can say that, and it's nameless, right, or indescribable. So what is that? So what is it? I mean, big deal. Okay, you just described something to me that's unimaginable. Okay. Then what is its use? So the second one talks about. You can say it's manifestations, but very important. We must understand that these manifestations all derive or come from this principle or this truth or this essence or whatever you want to call it, okay? All right? And actually, the two are one. See, that's the higher level of understanding. And here's why. Because if we just see the manifestations, unfortunately, which is most people do, scientists, everybody, philosophers, we only see the manifest, and we think that's permanent, that's true, that's real. We say, yeah, look, the laws of physics, that's real. How can that be not eternal? Well, let me ask you. First, we have Newton's laws. Then we found out that, that's not enough, right? That's insufficient. Now we have relativity. Relativity, we found out that's enough. That's not enough because now we have quantum mechanics. Now we find out that relativity and quantum mechanics don't jive. They don't jive, man. Now we're talking about unified field theory. So you keep going. You get it? So that means all the laws that's discovered or that's conjured up by the human mind, i.e. scientists, philosophers, whoever, are insufficient and never complete. Get it? So that's not true. How can that be true? Right? Because there's always a case that's contrary to what the theory says. Right? Make sense? Okay, so that's why those things are not real. So those are just nothing but manifestations of something that's absolute, that's what? Non-conditioned, unperturbed, changeless, eternal, dimensionless, timeless, etc., etc. So but it all comes from that. So it's called oneness. Make sense? This is a very high level. The Buddha nature class, we all stress that, okay? Because only when you're at that oneness perspective, then everything becomes real. Because you are one, at one. You're unity, okay? You're together. We say together, but, all right? You're inseparable. Maybe that's a better term, okay? All right, so that's why we say, now, there are a couple definitions of a couple of Chinese terms. The first one is called Qing. That's the name of that's the first character of the title of the classic, of the book, Qing Jing, right? Qing, which literally means purity or clarity. You can say that. But what it means, that's dictionary meaning, interpretation. Actually, what it implies is something that's empty. Get it? Empty, that's void, that true emptiness. Understand? That's what it means. Okay. Then the second word of the text of the script of the book, jing, literally means stillness and tranquility. That's what it literally means. Stillness, quiet, quiescence, quiet. Okay. What it means something that's unmoving, changeless, unchanging essence. So you combine the two, right? That's the name of this classic, Qing Jing, right? So we call it the classic of the purity and stillness, right? Or clarity and quiescence, etc., okay? Or tranquility, okay? But that's just the dictionary meaning. But what's the deeper meaning? It just means there is emptiness, and yet there's a marvelous essence. Get it? And that's that oneness. That's the oneness. And that's what Buddha, if we understand this oneness, then we would understand all the Buddha's scriptures, all his teachings, because it's all based on that oneness. Understand? That's why it's a classic. That's why do Buddha's teachings or dharmas, all his 5,000, I don't know, a lot of scriptures, a lot of sutras. There are sutras, etc. Okay, lot. All of them are timeless, including this one, including the Tao Te Ching. That's why in Chinese they call it Jing. Jing literally means scripture. I mean, you can say scripture, not a scripture. It's a book. Literally, it means a book. But Jing versus a book. In Chinese, there's a term called book. Su means book, any type of book. But Jing is a special type of book. Okay, it's a book that it's eternal. Whose contents always are true. So why? Makes sense. Because Buddha's words, or the enlightened beings' words, when they spoke these words for these books or these sutras, what? They're speaking from what? Not from their conscious mind, not from their memories, not from what they've learned, not from their experience. No. What they're talking about? They're speaking from their Buddha nature, from this essence. Get it? And what's the essence? The essence is eternal. So therefore, the teaching, we call the teaching, or the principles, you can say the principles that come out of their mouths, right, come out of their essence. Get it? And so therefore, that's why it's timeless. Because all they teach about is principles. Get it? Okay?
Well, it's the truth. So the truth is eternal. I mean, truth never changes.
Right. But there are different aspects of it, right, that changes. And that's the use, you can say the applications. Get it? Okay? So those are the first two, okay? So Qing Jing, understand that? Okay, now you understand the meaning. If you understand the meaning of the classic, you kind of grasp the overall meaning of the book of the scripture, okay? Oh, by the way, these 15, I know we divide into 15 sections. Actually, this book, this classic is how can I say? It's a summarized version, you can call it that way, of the Tao Te Ching. You can look at it that way. So if you want to understand the Tao Te Ching, it's 81 chapters, 5,000 plus words, which is very, very deep, very long. You could read this classic of purity and stillness. So if we understand this, then it'll be easier to understand to Tao Te Ching. Get it? Because all the core concepts or essence of the Tao Te Ching is contained in here, okay? So it's similar, the parallel in Buddhism is, you've heard of the Heart Sutra, right? The Heart Sutra is very short. It's only like 260 words, less than 300 words, roughly, right? In, I don't know how many sections, very, very short section, a few sections. That shortened version of the Heart Sutra captures the essence, the essential teaching points or doctrines of what? Of a much, much larger sutra called what? The Mahaprajna Paramita Sutras. Get it? And that's the largest. They have like, I forgot, 80 volumes. I forgot how many books. And it's the largest sutra of the Buddhist canons. Okay? So that's the parallel. Okay? Understand? Okay? So that's why this text is not, it's very deep. Okay? It's very profound. So yes, the words are fairly straightforward. In Chinese, words are very, and even if you read the English translation, it's fairly straightforward, right? But but the meaning is very deep. Okay. So this intro class is an attempt to reveal, some of the more profoundness or the more in-depth analysis of this classic. Okay. So there are two words at the end of this section that's very, very important. It's called 降本 and 流末. Okay, so it's called the origin, source, and the result flow. That was the translation. So it's in the outline, and how I defined it is origin source means that it's just that one principle. Remember that the section 1, they talk about that principle, this essence. It produces everything, including all the smallest details, and nothing is beyond it, outside. So it encompasses everything. Encompasses everything. Everything. All right? Everything. Okay? So nothing is beyond this oneness. Okay? And so similarly, in the Tao Te Ching, basically this line, this phrase in this second section is a rephrasing of this well-known line in the Tao Te Ching, in the Book of the Way of the Virtue, chapter 1, I think line number, I forgot, 7, 6 or 7, 5, line number 5, I forgot, fifth phrase or fifth sentence, whatever, which I wrote down here in parentheses. RE means recall, to recall, remember, recall, okay? Refer, you can say reference, refer to, okay? The translation is constantly without desire, one observes its essence. Okay, so it's 常无欲, right? 常无欲以观其妙, right? That means what? If we are always, constant means this time means always have no desire, in other words, no human emotions or thoughts, but rather have our Buddha nature or the essence, you can say our essence. What do we see? It's the essence. I mean, the Buddha nature is part of the essence, okay? Because it's eternal. It's unperturbed, unchanging, timeless, changeless, nameless, etc., formless, right? All that, okay? And then the second half is 流末. Literally, it means flow to the end. Literally, that's what it means. So the results that follow are all the manifestations, all the applications, formations, that are a result of this original source. Get it? Of this principle, essence, whatever. So similarly, in the Tao Te Ching, the next line, I think it's line 6 or 7, line 6, I think it's line 6. It says what? It says what? Constantly with desire. Desire, and this means with the human input, the human aspect, the human conscious mind aspect. Okay? One sees what? Nothing but all manifestations. All we see is manifestations, uses, functions, whatever. Application. So 常有means this means desire. It means, see, that's why in Chinese, and especially in Buddha nature class, each word has multiple meanings plus it's very meaningful. Okay, it has more deeper meaning. Okay, so 喻以观其教. Jiao means manifestation or application. Okay, so basically in this Qing Jing Jing, in this book, this classic, that last line of second section basically summarizes or rephrases it in a different manner, the lines 5 and 6 of the Tao Te Ching in chapter 1. Okay, that's very important. Okay, that's because that talks about the oneness. Basically, it's oneness. It's that essence and application. Okay, so that's why I call it the oneness. Okay, anyway, okay, that. And also the last one. So the manifestations are all dualistic, relativistic, and non-constant. Actually, in parentheses, I because I didn't have time to add the Chinese. It just means that you can refer to the Tao Te Ching, chapter 1, line 7. I think it's line 7, which says the two emerge together. See, they emerge, the two, because they're oneness, emerge together, but different in name. They have different names, okay, right? We call them principle, we call them application, we call them essence, we call them function, we call them Buddha nature, we call them wisdom, whatever, okay, it doesn't matter, okay? The unity, that means that oneness is said to be what? The mystery. That means it's indescribable. Mystery in this case, remember in first section of this, Lao Tzu said he does not know what the name of it is, so he called it the Tao. because it's this mystery. It has no name. It's nameless. Make sense? See, makes sense, right? That's also from Tao Te Ching. Okay? All right. So in Chinese is 此两者同出而异名. 异名 means many names, different names. 但是同为之玄. Both are called or considered as 玄 means mysterious, marvelous. Okay? Really, it's indescribable. Okay? All right? So that's from Tao Te Ching. Okay, so that's section 2. Well, I don't have enough time. Anyway, there's no way I'm going to finish chapter section. Okay, now let's go to the third section, which is the next, what, 1 phrase, 2 phrase, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 phrases. It doesn't matter, okay? So the next section, he's talking about, you can say so he described what the Tao was in section 1, section 2. He described kind of the quality, not the qualities, but the oneness, the marvelous of it. Okay, now, and then so the third section, basically, he's saying what we see, what we see, unfortunately, throughout this universe or cosmos is just the forms, right? So basically, he's trying to point us to say, move away from just seeing the forms, but rather what? See the source, or know the source in this case. I'm saying know the source, know the essence, know the principle, in other words. Just like, see, I didn't put in Chinese, there's a phrase, what? 饮水思源, right? 饮水思源. Drinking water, when you drink the water, you think you are mindful of its source. What does that mean, right? So that's a metaphor, right? Now, obviously, it's not just water. It's like, you can also say, when I see the sky, I want marvel at where did it come from? Or when I see the stars, I marvel what's the source, right? Same idea. That's how ancient people, for Fu Xi, for example, the person who was responsible for putting the 8 diagrams, the hexagrams, the yin and yang theory, right, concept. He was enlightened. Was an enlightened patriarch, okay, of the Green era, okay. He saw the sky and he saw the earth, and guess what he knew? He just realized, there must be some kind of absolute principle that gave rise to the cosmos and to the earth. That's it. He just saw that, and he understood, because that's at the higher level, okay, of this metaphor of drinking water, realizing the source or understanding where the source is. Make sense? Right? Very clear, right? Unfortunately, we wake up and we see the sky, the stars, whoopee-doo. And we see the earth, whoopee-doo. I don't know, duh. It's always here, whoopee-doo. Okay, so we're not enlightened yet. See, so we don't have that awareness, right? Okay, yeah. You say wisdom. Yeah. It's wisdom in this case, yeah, because that's the application, the understanding. That's the wisdom part. Get it? But it comes from the essence, our Buddha nature. Okay. All right. Enough. Okay. So all manifestations are complicated. From saying that's Heart Sutra. Form is void. Void is form. That's Heart Sutra. Okay. Basically, that means that everything, including forms, are all void. From that, right? Then we define what void is, right? That emptiness, that true emptiness. Remember? Okay. All right. Okay.
True emptiness means it's empty,
but there's something. Yeah. There's something there. There's something.
There's some essence.
There's something there, but it's invisible. It's formless, right? So, but there's something there. So it's not 完空. It's not vacuum. It's not a vacuum, which I will get to later, because later there is. Okay, I talk about that. Okay, I think that's number 8. Yeah, number 8. Anyway, number 7. No, number 8. Number 8. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, all right. Okay. Where are we? Number 3. Okay, yeah. So what does maintain mean? Yeah, there's a term in there that maintain. We say it just means we do not deviate from our Buddha nature, from our true nature, original nature. Okay, and then what is our true nature? True nature is our Buddha nature. Buddha nature. Bodhi nature. Yeah, I can say Bodhi mind. Buddha nature. Okay, and then now, what's very important is to understand what the source is. That the source, right? Or our source is also within us. That is our Buddha nature, okay? And then there are 2 parts. That means if we understand, we know, right? If we understood, you can say we are awakened, we're enlightened. Yeah, you can say we're enlightened too. Then that means all we understand that all the principles of the universe, the term is heaven and earth, that's the translation, which means the universe, the cosmos, are within our Buddha nature. Get it? We're within. They're part of us. That's amazing. It's part of you. It's part of us. When we say you, it's part of our Buddha nature. Yes. And then the second part is that we spoke about wisdom earlier, right? That our Buddha nature innately, it's endowed. It's already endowed. So it's equipped. It's already part of it. You can say it has the what? Perfect wisdom, or better known as Mahaprajna. That's in the outline, okay? Which clearly understand all the principles of the cosmos. Or in Buddha nature class, we call it Liao Liao Fen Ming, okay? That means you understand everything. You understand everything. Everything's crystal clear. That's another way of saying. Because what? We have that Buddha nature and the wisdom of it. The application of that Buddha nature, which is the wisdom in this case. Okay? All right? Make sense? Good stuff, huh? Good stuff.
I think this one point here is very important. It means every minute, every moment, we need to know what we are thinking. Try not to be away from Buddha nature, very pure heart. Okay? Because sometimes we could think other things which is not really pure from our Buddha nature.
Yeah, we have to be mindful.
Always
Yeah.
mindful.
Every second.
Yeah. Be vigilant. Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Now, initially, we have to have maybe a conscious thought to force, not to force us, but to keep us, online. Okay, keep us on that path, right? But over time, and that's why it's called cultivation. Part of that journey, that cultivation, okay, is to, as we do it over time, it becomes what? Like a habit. But then it becomes natural. You get it? It's like saying, hey, every time you wake up from bed, you make up your bed and you brush your teeth, right? You don't have to think about, say, oh, let's see, when I get up, let's see, what do I have to do first? I gotta, wash my face, brush my teeth, make my bed. You don't have to do that. It's automatic, right? Same idea, okay? So that's why we have to practice. That's called cultivation. Because we're not yet Buddhas yet. If we're Buddhas, it just is, just natural. They don't have to even, that's why you don't have to think about it. Get it? Okay, so all right? Okay, so that's okay, but that's the more the practice side, okay? The Qing Jing Jing, unfortunately, just like the Tao Te Ching, to many respects, always stresses just on that. You can say theory. It's abstract. Yeah, theory side.
Principles.
Yeah, principles. Even though they talk about the Tao Te Ching, Qing Jing Jing not so much. Because Qing Jing Jing, like I said, remember, it's a summarized version. It's a short version. It's the short version. The long version, which is the Tao Te Ching, in the latter half, second half, they talk about virtue, which is much more about manifestation, applications. You can say applications, okay, of the Buddha nature, of the Tao, you can say, all right? But that's more in detail. They talk about how you should govern a country, right? Chapter, I forgot what it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? Lot of things, okay? So, but just get the idea. But so this Qing Jing Jing is basically just the essence. Remember, I'm talking about the core principles. That's it, the core learning of the Tao Te Ching. Okay? All right. Okay. Let's go to next section 4. Okay. Source of delusions. I call it source of delusions because he talked about the next. It's only 2 lines, right? He said, 4 phrases. The human essence prefers purity, but the mind disturbs it. The human mind prefers stillness, but the desires mislead it. That's the translation, okay? So basically what just means is that, what is the essence, right? The essence is our true Buddha nature. It's not dualistic or relativistic, it's absolute. But yet the human mind, it's the conscious mind, overrides the true nature, or you can say overwhelms it because of what? Our desires of the human mind, of the conscious mind and attachments. So it's not constant, it's dualistic. So it overwhelms it. It kind of covers it up. You can say cover it up, cover our Buddha nature. So that's why we don't see our Buddha nature. So that's why people behave the way they behave. Thieves, murderers, whatever, okay? Okay, so that's how we do it, okay? And then the desires are what? Anything that attracts our senses and feelings. Get it? The five skandhas, right? Actually, I didn't put it in there, but if you more detail, it's reference to the 7 agents or distracting tendencies. 7事, 7个死. That's what, those are the I mean, and if you want to go into detail what the 7 agents are, it's in that Buddha nature class list, the glossary, okay, it's in there, all right? So 3 poisons is already in there, okay. There are 4 more. There's arrogance, there's arrogance, There's I forgot the 7 already. Darn it! I should know those things. Okay, here it is. I have it. Arrogance, attachments, doubts, false views. Ooh, those are all the 4 additional items to the 3 poisons. Okay, that's what gives rise to delusions. Get it? Now, delusions means anything that we have attachments to, desires to, etc., etc. Wrong views, all of that. That's why I call it the 7 agents. Get it? Buddhism. This is in Buddha nature class. Okay? See, so Lao Tzu and Buddha saying the same thing, right? Okay? All right. So, unfortunately, I know we have no time. Darn it. Anyway, but this is good stuff. Okay? So, now let's go to the next section. Okay? That's short. Okay? So now that we know what's the why we have delusions and why we have issues, then the next section is 5. It's basically how do we get rid of them, or how do we go back to the source? How do we get back on the track, right? If you will, okay? All right. So I call it return to the source, to abandon illusion and achieve enlightenment. Okay, and they are due to what? We have to understand what are the mechanisms or you can say elements that drive these illusions, right? Remember we talked about desires in the previous section, section 4. So he defined the 6 desires, 6欲. We also call it the 6 roots, the 6 senses, the 6 consciousness, etc. So there's sensations that attract the senses of what? Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thought, right? Those five, or 6, what do you call it? The 6 roots. They're the 6 roots, 6 consciousness. So so we got to be careful. That's what I'm saying. So we got to be watch out, mindful of what we see, mindful of what we smell, what we hear, what we taste, what we touch, what we think. Understand? So this is more detail, right? Okay. And then also the 3 poisons. We talked about that. Okay. Desires, rage, and fatuity. Okay. Some people say greed. Yeah, greed is a type of desire, right? Okay. Rage, anger is a type of rage, right? Okay. It's a passion. Fatuity means ignorance, okay, or delusions, okay, or whatever, okay. Foolishness, okay. Yeah, stubbornness, obsession, okay. So then, what Lao Tzu said that he said in the second line, he says basically that if the desires then can be removed, if we can less of that, then our minds, our human minds, will be closer to our Buddha nature. Okay? So the idea is that when we reach the highest level, it's at 1. Get it? So there's no more human mind. It's just the Buddha nature. Get it? The essence. Okay? So that's called 常住真心. That's in Buddha nature, guys. That's from Surangama Sutra. Okay? Same idea. Okay? Same concept. And then as our minds, human minds, becomes more pure, our essence then will gradually what? Reveal itself. Because there's nothing to hide it, to cover it up. Remember I said earlier, it overwhelms our true nature, right? So then we become one with our true nature. That is called proper knowledge, proper view. 正知正见. Understand? See, that's the 正知, 知道的知, 正见, right? 再见的见, okay? That's proper knowledge, proper understanding, proper view, okay? That's the first noble truth, okay? All right? So anyway, so not first noble eightfold path, okay? So that's the meaning of section 5. Understand? Thank you. Sorry, I know there are a lot I haven't talked about. I beg the Buddha's forgiveness.